and it's time to decant the wine. Decanting the wine, what do we need and what we're going to do. And there's such a different design of the bottle of the wine. So if you like to have your wine on mostly attract more oxygen to it, I'm going to draw something. So you have to get a carafe or a certain container that's look like this. Okay, see, this one is a typical decanter wine. What happened here is when you pour the wine here, it's basically, it has more space from this side to this side. I'll do it again. There you go. So you pour the wine here, and then the air or the oxygen will get in touch with the wine with more surface. So this would easily brings out the bouquet of the wine and bring it out here on your nose, just for you to smell the bouquet of the wine. But then we have some issue with this one. Yes, the issue is this one is how you put it, because as you can see, if you're going to put it like this one here, you see the amount of wine that flowing from this side. It has more wine going to be on this level, and you're emptying already the carafe, but you still have quite a lot of wine on this level. So that's not a good idea for decanting wine. What we have on wine decant that I think it's better is like a what you call this, the Aladdin lamp. I'm going to show it to you, just like this. Okay, so as I'm showing you here is the Aladdin's lamp type. I don't know if it's the Aladdin lamp, I just invented the word Aladdin lamp. So if you're going to pour the wine here, and basically you have a lot of surface that was going to cover here on this side again, and the same amount of oxygen that coming here, so the surface of the wine has more surface to cover it up for the aroma or the bouquet to come out here. Okay, and if you're going to pour the wine, it would be easily for you because you're just pouring it like this one, so you don't have a hard time pouring wines, not like this one that you're going to give you a headache, not with the sulfites, but a literal headache on what are you going to do to pour the wine. You're not going to pour it like this one to empty it, isn't it? Okay, so better you have to have this kind of carafe for you to have a better control when you're pouring wines. Okay, sorry, I don't have the materials or the equipment. I just have the pen and a pad to draw it. Okay, next, why do we need a candle to decant the wine? Okay, so what are we trying to say is, okay, I'm going to fabricate again the wine bottles like this one. Okay, and then let's have a candle like this one. Let's pretend that this is a candle. So when you're going to put the wine or decant a wine like this, so basically what I thought before when I was still working in a restaurant here in the Philippines, so one of the fancy restaurant, the purpose of this that I thought before is to give the wine a little bit more on the heating side element. So because they always say that red wine must be a room temperature. So that's what I was thinking before. So that's why every time that I'm going to put a wine in a decanter, I take the bottle, put it here underneath the neck of the wine, like here, and just pour it on, knowing that the heat will going to that the light is going to heat up the wines while traveling into the decanter. That's what I thought before. But then, the use of the candle is not for that reason. Okay? The reason of the candle to be in there, it's more like a light source. So, you don't need to have a candle, but you need to have a light. Okay? So you can use anything, a bulb, a flashlight, as long as you have a light. It's just because the sediments, you are looking for the sediments when you're putting the candle on the neck of the bottle. See, as you're putting the wine, here you go, as you're putting the wine here, okay, and then when you notice the lights here, look at the, you can see at the neck of the wine here. When you see it's still clear, yeah, and then you still continue pouring the wines. But once you get the sediments coming out, and that's the time that you're going to stop, no matter how much wine still remains on the bottle. Once that you're going to put the wine or pour the wine like this, and you notice, and that light helps you to check on the neck of the bottles that is still clear, but when you see starting to have the sediments coming out, and that's the time that you're going to stop the decantering. That's the proper way of decanting the wine, and it's just because you have to remove the sediments. So that's basically how to decanter the wine. And okay, as I was mentioning, the temperature of the wines. Room temperature is what? Good question. What is what we call a room temperature? If you go in India or in Indonesia or here in the Philippines, what is our room temperature comparing to the one who lives in the northern part of the world? Let's say Canada, the US, or France. What it will be like? What's the difference between the temperature, between the room temperature? So room temperature only works on that certain area, the one who produced the wine itself. So they know this is the room temperature, because here in France it's cold, so this is our room temperature. But here in Asia, no way, because the room temperature here is boiling hot, as you can see. So what's the perfect temperature for the wines? Okay, the wine temperature itself for the red wines, it's going up to 15 degrees Celsius to 17. That's in Celsius. So you set up your air conditioning, fill the room, feel comfortable, maybe on the 20s or 19 degrees Celsius. That's it. If you're going to be down to 17, well, far more better, because you have the right room temperature, and that's the right temperature for you to serve the red ones, red wine. Yes. So the more full-bodied your red wine is, the lesser temperature you need to serve. So if you have a full-bodied ones, so the temperature that you're going to have is about 17 degrees. That's the maximum temperature for the red ones. And if it's going to be a medium-bodied or a Pinot Noir wines, let's go about 13 to 15 degrees. That's the proper temperature for the red ones. And for the white wines, it goes up to a 50 degrees Celsius below, but not below. It's basically, let's do about 45, 43 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. That's the proper way of serving a white wine. Why is that? It's, you don't serve white wine ice cold. There's no way. Because if you're going to serve the white wine frozen or cold or icy cold, you cannot get the real flavor or the aroma of it. So there must be a distinction regarding the right temperature for the wine, so you can get its crispiness. It opens up the floral or the bouquet of the wine. You can still have it, and the wine is just good enough to drink or just cold enough to drink. Don't over freeze the wine, or don't ever serve a wine frozen, because what you can get if you get a very cold wine, you just get freeze. So the aroma or the flavor will get freeze. So basically, you're just drinking on let's say water, because no flavor at all. Because as soon as the cold wine touches your tongue, it's feel numb. That's the reason why you have to drink that wine in a particular temperature, and don't over freeze the wine. Okay.